Being alone is often misunderstood as something negative, something to be feared or avoided. Society teaches us that being surrounded by people, having a social circle, and constantly engaging with others is the key to happiness. But in reality, solitude is not a curse. It is a gift, a hidden blessing that many fail to recognize. It is in moments of solitude that we find our true selves, understand our inner strength, and tap into the immense power that lies within us. When we are constantly surrounded by people, we often adapt ourselves to fit into their expectations. We become what the world wants us to be, rather than who we truly are. The noise of the world, the opinions of others, and the pressure to conform drown out our inner voice. But when we are alone, something magical happens. Everything becomes quiet. And for the first time, we truly listen to ourselves. We begin to hear our own thoughts without interference, and we start to understand our deepest desires, fears, and strengths. Solitude provides a unique opportunity for self-reflection. It allows us to look within, to question our beliefs, and to understand our purpose in life. When we are constantly engaged with others, we rarely take a moment to pause and ask ourselves, what do I truly want? But in moments of solitude, we have the space to reflect on our dreams, our passions, and our goals. We can analyze our past, learn from our mistakes, and decide the direction we want to take in the future. Many of the greatest minds in history have found their inspiration in solitude. Writers, artists, philosophers, and inventors often seek isolation to create their masterpieces. Why? Because in solitude, creativity flourishes. When we are alone, our minds are free to wander, to imagine, and to create without judgment. We tap into our inner genius, unburdened by the expectations of others. Solitude becomes the canvas upon which we paint our dreams, ideas, and innovations. But solitude is not just about creativity. It is also about strength. Life is filled with challenges, disappointments, and heartbreaks. If we constantly depend on others to lift us up, we become weak. True strength is built in moments of loneliness, when we have no one else to rely on but ourselves. When we face difficult times alone, we learn to trust our own resilience. We realize that we are capable of overcoming obstacles without needing validation or support from the outside world. The fear of loneliness often stems from the belief that being alone means being unloved or unwanted. But that is far from the truth. Being alone does not mean that no one cares about you. It simply means that you have the opportunity to build a deeper connection with yourself. Instead of seeking love and approval from others, you learn to love yourself. You begin to appreciate your own company, and in doing so, you develop a sense of self-worth that is independent of external validation. One of the most empowering aspects of solitude is that it teaches us emotional independence. Many people fear being alone because they believe they need someone else to complete them. But the truth is, you are already whole. When you embrace solitude, you understand that happiness is not something that comes from another person. It is something that comes from within. You learn to enjoy your own presence, to find peace in silence, and to be content with who you are, without needing constant companionship. Solitude also helps us build clarity. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, our minds are constantly cluttered with distractions. We are bombarded with information, social media, and the demands of others, leaving little room for deep thinking. But when we take time to be alone, we clear away the noise. We gain clarity about our priorities, our values, and our purpose. We make decisions with confidence because we are no longer influenced by external pressures. People often confuse loneliness with solitude, but they are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, a sense of being disconnected from others. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice, a powerful state of being where we embrace our own company. It is about enjoying the moments of quiet, using them for self-growth, and emerging stronger than before. When you start seeing solitude as a gift rather than a burden, everything changes. You stop fearing being alone and instead start appreciating it. You use it as an opportunity to heal, to grow, and to evolve into the best version of yourself. You stop depending on others for happiness and realize that true joy comes from within. Solitude is not about being isolated from the world. It is about being deeply connected to yourself. It is in those quiet moments that you hear your own voice, understand your own heart, and recognize your own power. When you embrace solitude, you step into your strength, and that is where true transformation begins. From the moment we are born, society conditions us to believe that we need others to feel complete. We are told that happiness comes from relationships, success comes from approval, and self-worth comes from validation. We grow up seeking recognition, whether from family, friends, teachers, or colleagues, because we are made to believe that our value depends on how others see us. But what if we shifted that perspective? What if we understood that everything we need is already within us? What if we realized that we are enough just as we are? The need for external validation can become a dangerous trap. When we depend on others to make us feel worthy, we give away our power. We allow their opinions, judgments, and expectations to dictate how we see ourselves. If someone praises us, we feel good. If someone criticizes us, we feel worthless. Our self-esteem rises and falls based on the words and actions of those around us. But true confidence is not built on the approval of others. It is built on an unshakable belief in oneself. Understanding that you are enough means recognizing that your worth is not tied to your achievements, relationships, or social status. It is not determined by how many friends you have, how much money you make, or how many compliments you receive. Your worth is inherent. It exists simply because you exist. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need to constantly seek validation or chase perfection. You are enough as you are, in this moment, with all your flaws, strengths, and imperfections. One of the greatest challenges in life is learning to love and accept yourself unconditionally. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they compare themselves to others. Social media, in particular, has amplified this problem. We see carefully curated images of other people's lives, their successes, their happiness, their seemingly perfect moments, and we start to feel inadequate. We forget that what we see is only a highlight reel, not the full picture. We do not see the struggles, the failures, or the insecurities behind those smiles, and yet we judge ourselves based on unrealistic standards, believing that we are not good enough because we do not measure up to an illusion. But self-worth is not found in comparison. It is found in self-acceptance. When you stop measuring yourself against others and start appreciating yourself for who you truly are, you free yourself from the burden of unrealistic expectations. You realize that your journey is unique and that you do not have to follow someone else's path to find fulfillment. You start valuing yourself for your own qualities, talents, and experiences rather than seeking validation from the outside world. Being enough does not mean that you are perfect. It means that you are whole. It means embracing your imperfections instead of seeing them as flaws. Every scar, every mistake, every failure is a part of your story. Instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect, celebrate the fact that you are constantly growing. Growth does not come from being flawless. It comes from learning, evolving, and becoming the best version of yourself. When you truly believe that you are enough, you stop fearing rejection. You stop trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you. You stop chasing after people who do not see your value. You realize that your worth is not dependent on whether someone likes you, accepts you, or appreciates you. When you know your own worth, you attract people who respect and cherish you for who you are, rather than those who expect you to change to fit their expectations. One of the most powerful things you can do is stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself, not with criticism, but with kindness. Instead of picking apart your flaws, acknowledge your strengths. Instead of focusing on what you lack, recognize what you have. Instead of seeking love from others, give love to yourself. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but with time you will realize that the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one of all. Self-acceptance also leads to inner peace. When you stop trying to prove yourself to the world, you experience a sense of freedom. You no longer feel the pressure to be someone you are not. You no longer live in fear of judgment. You no longer exhaust yourself by trying to please everyone. You simply exist as you are, knowing that you are worthy just by being you. When you embrace the fact that you are enough, you start setting boundaries. You no longer allow people to take advantage of you or make you feel less than you are. You stop tolerating toxic relationships that drain your energy. You learn to say no to things that do not align with your values. You protect your peace, knowing that you do not have to accept anything that diminishes your self-worth. You are enough in every way. You do not need to be smarter, richer, or more successful to be worthy. You do not need to look a certain way, act a certain way, or be loved by everyone to have value. You are enough simply because you are, and once you truly believe that, nothing and no one can take your power away. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and painful moments. At some point, every person experiences heartbreak, disappointment, failure, and rejection. While these moments can be overwhelming, they also hold a hidden power. The power to transform us into stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. The pain we go through is not meant to break us, it is meant to shape us. It is in these difficult times that we discover our true strength and ability to rise above adversity. Pain is a universal experience, but how we respond to it determines the course of our lives. Some people allow pain to define them, keeping them stuck in a cycle of regret and sadness. Others choose to use their pain as fuel for growth and transformation. It is this choice that makes all the difference. Turning pain into power is not about ignoring the hurt or pretending it does not exist. It is about acknowledging the pain, learning from it, and using it as a stepping stone to something greater. One of the most important lessons pain teaches us is resilience. When we go through hardships, we often feel like we cannot endure them. We wonder how we will survive the heartbreak, the loss, or the failure. But as time passes, we realize that we are much stronger than we thought. Each painful experience builds our emotional strength, teaching us how to navigate life's difficulties with grace and courage. We develop the ability to stand tall even when life knocks us down. Many people who have achieved great success have stories of struggle and pain. They did not reach where they are because life was easy for them. They reached there because they refused to let their struggles defeat them. Instead of giving up, they used their pain as motivation to push forward. They understood that failure was not the end but a lesson, and heartbreak was not a punishment but an opportunity for growth. Every great leader, artist, and innovator has faced rejection, criticism, and loss. But what set them apart was their ability to turn those experiences into something meaningful. Pain also brings clarity. When we are comfortable and everything is going well, we rarely take the time to reflect on our lives. But when we experience hardship, we are forced to look inward and reevaluate our priorities. Pain strips away the distractions and forces us to see what truly matters. It helps us understand who we are, what we want, and what we are capable of overcoming. One of the greatest examples of turning pain into power is the ability to help others through our own struggles. When we go through difficult experiences, we develop empathy and understanding for those who are going through similar situations. Many people who have faced trauma or hardship choose to dedicate their lives to helping others because they know what it feels like to suffer. Their pain becomes their purpose, and through their experiences, they inspire and uplift those who are struggling. Pain can also be a source of creativity. Some of the most powerful works of art, literature, and music have been born from pain. Artists, writers, and musicians often channel their struggles into their work, creating something that resonates deeply with others. Their pain gives them a unique perspective, allowing them to express emotions that others might find difficult to put into words. Through their art, they heal not only themselves, but also those who connect with their work. Turning pain into power requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing pain as an enemy, we must see it as a teacher. Every difficult experience carries a lesson, whether it is about love, resilience, patience, or self-worth. When we begin to see our pain as an opportunity for growth, we stop feeling like victims and start feeling like warriors. Forgiveness is another important step in transforming pain. Holding on to anger and resentment only prolongs suffering. When we forgive, not for the sake of others, but for our own peace, we free ourselves from the burden of pain. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It means choosing to let go of the bitterness so that we can move forward. Pain also teaches us gratitude. When we have faced darkness, we learn to appreciate the light even more. We begin to see beauty in the small moments, in kindness, in love, and in the simple joys of life. Hard times remind us not to take anything for granted and to cherish the good moments when they come. There will always be moments in life when pain feels unbearable, but when we understand that pain has a purpose, we gain the strength to endure it. It is in our most difficult times that we find our greatest power. The scars we carry are not signs of weakness, but reminders of our ability to survive and overcome. No matter how broken we feel, we have the power to rise again. Our pain does not define us. Our ability to transform it into strength does. When we embrace our struggles as part of our journey, we step into our true power and become the strongest versions of ourselves. Darkness is often seen as something negative, something to be feared or avoided. We associate it with loneliness, struggle, and uncertainty. But what if darkness is not the enemy? What if, instead of trying to escape it, we learn to embrace it? Some of the most powerful transformations happen in the dark. Just like a seed grows beneath the soil before it breaks through the surface, or a butterfly emerges from its cocoon after a period of isolation. Our light shines brightest not in moments of comfort, but in moments of challenge. Life is full of ups and downs. Everyone experiences moments when they feel lost, broken, or alone. It is in these moments that we are tested, that we are forced to look within and find the strength we never knew we had. When everything is easy, we do not need to fight. We do not need to prove our resilience. But when life pushes us into darkness, we have two choices: to let it consume us or to become our own source of light. Adversity has a way of revealing who we truly are. When everything is stripped away, when we are no longer surrounded by people, achievements, or external validation, what remains is our inner strength. It is in the dark that we find out what we are truly made of. Some of the strongest, most inspiring individuals in the world did not find their greatness in easy time. They found it in struggle. They found it when they had no choice but to fight for themselves, to believe in themselves, and to rise from the ashes. The most beautiful things in life often emerge from pain. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Pearls are created when an oyster endures irritation. The stars shine only in the night sky. If we can begin to see our own darkness not as a place of suffering, but as a place of transformation, we start to realize its purpose. Every hardship, every loss, and every moment of loneliness is shaping us into the person we are meant to be. One of the biggest fears people have is being alone. We are taught to seek comfort in the presence of others, to surround ourselves with noise, to fill our time with distractions. But when we are alone, we have a rare opportunity to meet ourselves fully. We are able to listen to our own thoughts, face our fears, and understand our true desires. It is in solitude that many great ideas are born, where creativity flourishes and where self-awareness grows. The people who inspire the world are not those who have never faced darkness, but those who have walked through it and emerged stronger. They are the ones who turn their pain into purpose, who use their struggles as a foundation for growth. They did not wait for someone else to rescue them. They became their own source of light. They found hope in hopelessness, strength in weakness, and wisdom in suffering. Resilience is not built in moments of ease. It is built in moments of hardship. The challenges we face are not meant to break us, but to prepare us. Every time we rise after falling, every time we refuse to give up, we are strengthening ourselves. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who have never failed, but the ones who refuse to stay down when they did. Fear thrives in darkness, but so does courage. When we are placed in difficult situations, we have an opportunity to face our fears head on. Instead of running from them, we can confront them. We can prove to ourselves that we are capable, that we are strong enough to handle whatever life throws at us. With each challenge we overcome, we become more fearless, more determined, and more powerful. One of the greatest lessons that darkness teaches us is gratitude. When we have experienced pain, we learn to appreciate joy. When we have known loneliness, we value connection. When we have felt weak, we understand the importance of strength. Darkness gives us perspective. It reminds us not to take the light for granted. It helps us recognize the beauty in the simple things, the moments of kindness, the love that surrounds us. Transformation happens in silence, in struggle, and in solitude. Just like the moon does not need the sun to shine at night, we do not need external validation to find our own power. The fire within us burns brighter when we embrace our struggles, when we use them to fuel our growth. It is in our darkest moments that we find our deepest strength. When we stop fearing the darkness and start seeing it as part of our journey, everything changes. We stop feeling like victims and start feeling like warriors. We stop doubting ourselves and start believing in our resilience. We stop waiting for the light and start becoming the light. No matter how dark life gets, remember that you carry your own light within you. Every challenge, every moment of solitude, and every hardship is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Do not fear the darkness. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it strengthen you. The brightest stars are seen in the darkest skies, and the strongest souls are forged in the toughest battles. You are not alone, and you are not broken. You are growing, evolving, and becoming unstoppable. So stand tall, shine your light, and show the world the power that lies within you.